World War I and World War II are often remembered for their large-scale battles, political maneuvering, and technological advancements. However, behind the headlines in history books lie the untold stories of the human cost of these conflicts. In World War I, millions of soldiers were sent to the front lines to fight for their countries. These men faced unimaginable horrors in the trenches, enduring constant shelling, gas attacks, and the ever-present fear of death. Many soldiers suffered from physical injuries, losing limbs or being permanently scarred by the violence of war. But the toll of World War I was not just physical. The mental and emotional scars left by the conflict were just as devastating. Soldiers returned home with what was then called shell shock, now known as post-traumatic stress disorder. These men struggled to reintegrate into society, haunted by the memories of the battlefield. World War II brought even greater devastation, with millions more lives lost and entire cities reduced to rubble. The Holocaust, in particular, stands as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. 6 million Jews, along with millions of others, were systematically murdered by the Nazis in a campaign of genocide. But the untold stories of World War II go beyond the numbers. They are the stories of families torn apart, of children orphaned, of communities destroyed. They are the stories of resistance fighters risking their lives to fight against tyranny, of civilians caught in the crossfire, of refugees fleeing their homes in search of safety. The human cost of war is not just measured in lives lost, but in the trauma and suffering endured by those who survive. The veterans who returned home from World War II carried with them the memories of the horrors they witnessed, struggling to make sense of the senseless violence they had experienced. Even today, the legacy of World War I and World War II continues to impact the world. The scars of these conflicts are still felt in the countries that were torn apart by war, in the families who lost loved ones, in the survivors who carry the burden of their experiences. As we remember the sacrifices made by those who fought in World War I and World War II, we must also remember the untold stories of the human cost of conflict. We must honor the memories of those who suffered and died, and strive to build a world where such devastation is never repeated. The untold stories of World War I and World War II are a reminder of the true cost of war. They are a reminder that behind the battles and the politics are real people, with real lives and real stories. And it is our duty to remember and honor those stories, so that we may never forget the human cost of conflict.